Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode, another day of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Jedi Survivor. Now, I haven't been really... We've been so involved in Hogwarts Legacy the last couple weeks and leading up to it and whatnot. We really haven't dove into it. Now, we did know that it got delayed to April. It moved 6 weeks, I believe, from beginning of March, right? Because it was like 1 month after, like a month and... It was 6 weeks after Hogwarts Legacy was supposed to come out, and now it's got pushed back till like late April. Now, we're going to go over IGN. They have like 5 or 6 videos. I think it's 6 videos. They had a 9-minute video over 2 weeks ago, and then they just released one like 1 day ago. So we're going to watch all of those. I'm going to pause, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. I am very excited about this game. I was a big fan of Jedi Fallen Order. I thought it was one of the greater games of Star Wars in general. So let's take a look. If you like what we do here, please make sure you share, like, subscribe. It helps the channel out. It's a little channel. We're growing a little bit each and every single day. My goal this year is to get to 5,000 subscribers. We're way off from that. So if you'd like to help us out, please make sure you hit that share, like, and subscribe. All right, so let me bring up the first 9-minute long video here. This was take place, I believe, about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago this came out. We didn't cover it when it came out, but we're going to cover it now. What's going on, Travis?
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is February's IGN first, and to kick it all off, we're introducing you to the world of Kobo, a brand new planet that Cal Kestis crash lands on early in the game after a secret mission he's involved with goes awry. Enjoy this look at 9 minutes of gameplay on Kobo, and be sure to check IGN all throughout the month of February for much more Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Okay. Mind giving me a closer look?
Maybe what I'll do is, maybe we'll go to this view instead. Hold on 1 second.
That is one big beast. We have our target. Now let's reach it. Last time I saw a Lucre Hulk was Braca. Long time ago. Prof.
There's something about the way he walks. It's weird. I think that's my biggest discrepancy so far. It's like his animation.
Here we go. No.
Man, I'm excited about this game.
I tried to build my own droid once. Fascinating. And how did that go?
Yeah, the planet looks good. Make sure we're at the highest ADP. You can go higher. I'm gonna keep it at the 1080 60. You guys can't see it like that, but here's the one thing, and even in Jedi Fallen Order, I'm gonna pause it for a second. The one thing that I even said this during Jedi Fallen Order, right? The one thing that kind of irks me a little bit, it's a lightsaber, right? There are times where he like slices through someone and then like they lose an arm or a leg or whatnot, right? And it like then there's other times he like hits them and it shows the burn marks on it. Really, every time you hit someone with a lightsaber, it would cut through them 100%, right? Now, I know I'm nitpicking here, but when it does happen correctly, you're like, oh man, it's so satisfying. And then when you're doing it other times, you're like, how come that didn't slice them in half? You know what I mean?
Damage taken. Having tried.
Like, see like that right there, right? Like he slices him. He cuts through him. Like, obviously, the saber went through him. See? And then he gets cut in half. And that's, like, super satisfying. Super satisfying. Right? That's, like, super satisfying. Can't have an enemy be one-hit kill. I get it. I get it, Ford, but at the same time, when you do your certain moves on somebody, you do one hit them, and then other times the same exact move only like just slices, like grazes them, and then the burn marks go away. Like here, that last hit, this last hit where you kill the guy, you literally cut through his face. Watch. Right? He hits him with the saber. It's not a baseball bat. Right? Like, there wouldn't... See, this... And again, this is me, my nerdum here. My nerdum. There would be no of this impact of, like, when you get hit by something. It's not a baseball bat. It's not a stick. It's a lightsaber. Right? So when that light hits their face, it would just cut through them like butter. Do you know what I mean? Like, that arm should be gone. What's going on, Dog Puzzle? No, you can slice humans, J4. They show a stormtrooper later on that you decapitate his leg. I'm gonna lower the volume just a little bit there. Right, Brain? Maybe he's got Beskar grafted on his bones like Wolverine. Yeah.
You hear that?
No, do it. Call it in. Another one down. Raven.
Come on, Dave. It's not M-rated? Sure, but there's still decapitation. They literally, I'll show you later. They literally slice off a dude's leg. I'm just having a conversation. It's not like I'm gonna be like, there's no way I'm getting this game because it's not realistic. Now, see right there? Let me... I want it... Oh. Hold on. Right? That robot comes at him. Okay? That robot comes at him. And this is not a one-tap robot. Now, his shield's down a little bit. He comes at him. And he takes one swipe at him, right? He cuts back. He's about to take a swipe at him. Robot jumps up in the air, and you take your lightsaber, like you slice him in half. You slice him in half, even though it wasn't, you know. You're right, Brain. It would be decapitation. It would be head. Dismember it. Sorry.
You think I can do that, BD?
I'm really looking forward. I really like the puzzles in Jedi Fallen Order, so I'm really looking forward to the more puzzles. I enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy a lot because of the puzzles. We're gonna keep it on this screen instead of the widescreen because I don't want people to think I'm playing the game. I got early access or anything. This is IGN. We're looking at IGN. God damn, it looks good. Yeah, when I make banter about like the unrealistic, you know, potentially what the lightsaber would be in real life, it's all just for fun. I'm not going. There's points marked off of this game. unrealistic. Oh, there it is. There it is, brain. That's decapitation. That was decapitation. Let me rewind that. You take this little creature's head right here. You hold him up, and there's the slice right. Wait, where is it? Show it to me. Right there. Head's completely cut off. That's a decapitation. Where's your M rating now? Oh, I remember the slowdown. Oh, he changed the duel. Oh, it's definitely he's definitely lost his head there. Definitely lost his head. Clean cut. But do you see what I'm saying? Like you see things like this. Now I have a question, and again, I'm just playing around here. The lightsaber that slices through him is sideways, right? But yet when he hits him, look, when he hits him, it cuts it this way. A little unrealistic. Step up your game, Respawn. Oh, you're just lobbing off heads on these guys. Look at all the heads on the ground. Seeing this still wants me to make see Force Unleash, just update the graphical and maybe clean up the UI a little. I agree, but I also disagree. I don't want remakes. I want to move forward.
Always on point.
It's a BD, Jesse. Another head decapitation. I'm counting. We're up to 9. 9 head decapitations. Yeah, pre-order canceled. That's it. Unrealistic lightsaber action. I'm done. This is another game I'm going to lose myself in. I don't. Writing sucks now. We had better stories back then. I don't know. I thought this story was really good for Jedi Fallen Order. My only thing, my literal only critique so far is they changed something the way he walks. It looks weird. And again, this might be early footage and maybe they smoothed it out a little bit more. But when he walks around, it just looks a little weird, a little wonky. Now that I'm looking at this, and after playing over 100 hours of Hogwarts Legacy, I can see sort of a same type of fighting stuff. Now, I understand this is melee, and but I can see the counter, the parry, the way they attack you from all different sides. Hogwarts pulled from other games. You know, you can see it a lot now, obviously, and they're continuing on doing what they did before.
I get it. They're weird things. I'd like to know what's in them too. But we don't have that kind of time or resource.
All right, so that was the 9 minutes there.
And please stop asking.
Yeah, the actual only criticism I have is his walking animation looks strange. Let me get the next one up and prepped here.
A good action game.
Yeah, the story was fantastic. We're probably gonna do another playthrough. I literally just deleted off of my main channel my playthrough of Jedi Fallen Order. But I think once April starts, I think what we'll do is I think we'll play through Fallen Order. We'll do that on the nighttime episodes, and leading up to Jedi Survivor.
The game lives and dies by the strength of its combat. True, but combat mechanics are just one part of the equation. Equally important are the enemies that put those combat mechanics to the test. And so, one of the things I was most curious about during my visit to Respawn was the enemy design of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Fortunately, I had design director Jason DeHarris and production director Kasumi Shishido to walk me through a handful of new enemy types that are determined to stand in the way of Cal Kestis.
Oh, I get you, Brain. You want more of the Sith stuff. I gotcha.
Early on, the team at Respawn knew that they wanted to incorporate more droids into the fold as far as enemies go. And true enough, there are tons of droids to fight against in Jedi Survivor. From the weak, fodder-like
Roger.
B-1 battle droids, to the formidable droidicas, also known as those cool roller droids from the prequel movies. According to Shishido, droids give the team much more freedom when it comes to what they can do and what types of weapons they're able to use. Let's individually check out a handful of these droids and talk about what went into each of their designs. The B-1 droids cover the role of the fodder enemy archetype on the planet Kobo.
These
They're
these
as
droids
weak as
are
can
one
be,
tap.
falling to just one saber slash or reflected blaster shot, but they're usually found in large groups and can still be a dangerous threat thanks to their range and their tendency for hitting Cal while they're off screen. Most notably though, their banter is kind of hilarious.
And let
Respawn
me
has
make
really
this
upped
clear,
their
right?
game in Jedi.
If there's a story beat within the game itself, like I know Brain was joking about infusing Beskar on their bones, but if they make it known in the story that the armor, like all Cal Kestis has to say is, "Oh man, my lightsaber's bouncing off their armor. They've got Beskar or they got something in there," then 100%, that's fine. I find it a little weird, like you slice through a regular robot, you're slicing through other things, but certain humans, you're ricocheting off of them, right? And as a Star Wars fan and as a nerd, I'm like, well, that doesn't seem right. It's sort of like when we play Division. You look at Division, you're like, oh, they're still bullet spongy. Like, these are regular guys. I'm shooting bullets at them, and they're bullet spongy. There's that video game, give and take type of, well, it's a game, so it's unrealistic, but it's set in a real world. In Star Wars, this is the real world in their lore, right? Lightsabers cut through stuff all the time, and when it can't cut through something and then cuts through something else, you're like, well, why is that? If they say something along the lines of, oh, you gotta something in the actual story, then I'm fine with it. If not, I'm still fine with it, but at least in my head canon, it makes more sense.
Survivor when it comes to amusing enemy conversations. So, while it may be tempting to just wipe them out with a single force push, exercise some restraint for a few moments to let the dialogue play out, and you'll be rewarded with a good laugh. The B-2 droids are the bruisers of the droid family.
That would be pretty cool,
They take a fair amount
Brian.
of hits to bring down and can pack a heavy melee punch while also being armed with both a blaster and a missile launcher to deal damage from afar. They're certainly no pushover, but fall into this really nice spot where once you learn to time parries on their melee attacks, reflect their blaster shots, and always be on the lookout to force pull their missiles, they become much less of a threat.
There's a couple of visual things that are happening as well. Sometimes when he does the slices on people, they're there, and then other times when you he does like a slice, and you see them, and then when he does the next slice, they disappear, and then that new slice comes in.
Among the more agile droids, and
Probably
will surely put your
memory
melee
stuff.
combat skills to the test, as they will regularly parry your attacks and execute multi-hitting spin techniques, while also leaping around the battlefield and just being an elusive target. These droids have canonically been shown to use vibro swords and go up against Jedi, which, according to the team, really gave them a perfect mid-level enemy that can go toe-to-toe against Cal without feeling too fragile.
The droidicas are the worst.
You may know them more colloquially as destroyer droids or those rolling droids from the prequels, but they're actually called droidicas.
You think that's what it
I
is,
didn't get
Dave?
a chance to face off against
It just seems weird, right? And I would have to go back and look at some footage, and maybe we will.
Fans should
I'm gonna go look back at footage of
as you'd
Jedi Fallen
expect
Order
from the
and see how he
movies and
walked
shows.
there.
As he says, they've got the bubble shield. That's classic to the IP, so we have to use that. We have to find a way to make that into the design. So they've got the bubble shield, they roll, and they actually incorporate that into their melee, so you can't just stunlock it forever, he said. The IG-100 Magna Guards
these are
are highly
Grievous's.
formidable enemies that anyone who's a big fan of the Clone Wars series should immediately recognize. These are General Grievous's elite bodyguards, and as such, they are highly skilled melee warriors that can give a Jedi a run for their money. The Harris describes the Magna Guards as a superior elite type of enemy that can be offensive, defensive, counter you, and attack in weird rhythms to try and throw the player's own counters off.
Probably have to pull the
Shield
shields
Trooper
from them.
was born from a simple need. The team wanted a Scout Trooper that survived a little bit longer. But as with just about every enemy in Star Wars...
See what you just said there? They wanted a trooper that could just survive a little bit longer, right? So they gave it a shield. You see what I'm saying? They understand the logic, right? They understand the logic inside their own game.
Jedi Survivor, there are several ways to bring them down. You hack away at their shield with your lightsaber and eventually knock it away, but that would make you vulnerable to the other enemies surrounding you. You could try to maneuver around it and slash its back, but they're generally pretty good at tracking you, and you'd have to find some way to distract them. The ideal way to deal with them, though, is to hold down your force pull to yank their shield away, and then Captain America it right back at them. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is full of moments like this where you can use your force abilities in ways that make sense to gain an advantage in combat without explicitly being told to use them. The impetus for the DT Sentry Droid was that the team needed a big brute enemy, and so Respawn turned to Star Wars Rebels and found this guy. One of the things that was really appealing about the DT Sentry Droid as an enemy was that they could have different loadouts, and so there are 3 different variations of this enemy that you'll do battle with. One might have a staff and a missile, another might have a hammer, and another might come equipped with a blaster. Shishido said that fans of Rebels and the Bad Batch should understand how menacing these droids are, and
that's awesome. Look at that. That's awesome. Takes his legs out like that.
Said that fans of Rebels and the Bad Batch should understand how...
Like, watch this. Now, the hitbox off of what they're showing, obviously we're going frame by frame, doesn't actually do it. Like, it already passed through him. But now the legs get broken apart. But the saber's already like 3 feet behind him. So it's a little late. But still cool. I wonder if he crawls at you.
And that the first moment you encounter them will be a real oh shit kind of moment. The Harris also added that these are one of the few droids where you can hack off one of its limbs and it would still come at you, with its combat capabilities impacted by the loss of a limb. The KX security droid enforcer appeared in Fallen
seems
Order
like there's
famously
quite a bit of
as that droid that likes to grab and choke
different enemies.
This particular variant, however, will not be doing any choke slams, as they now come equipped with a stun baton, the weapon of the Scout Troopers. The story behind that is that these droids were used as the trainers of Scout Troopers, and thus are basically 3 times as dangerous as a Scout Trooper would be. The Harris said that they wanted to make the KX droid in Survivor a brawler type of enemy that could block and counter, and that they had thought about making it a hybrid style of enemy that could also grab you, but that mixing the archetypes like that often muddies the design. This is but a small sample size of the enemies that players can expect to counter over the course of their journey in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. There are still all sorts of hostile wildlife that you'll encounter on the various planets, plus Imperialists and other human factions like the Bedlam Raiders found on Kobo. It's also just a small part of our continuing coverage of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so keep checking IGN all...
What's this little meter down here? It's hard to see. Is that your special ability, like your ultimate type of thing?
All throughout the month of February.
I don't remember that in Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order. So real quick, I want to see something. We'll keep it with
Combat definitely draws from Dark Souls with its emphasis on carefully timing strikes, parries, and dodges while watching the enemy for tells. On Jedi Master difficulty, I found that just about every enemy was seriously
there wasn't that
dangerous,
special
especially
ability
in
thing at the
groups,
bottom.
except for basic stormtroopers, who are very on-brand and easy to kill.
Okay, I got this. I got this. Lucky move.
Sparring with bosses and foes with lightsaber-like weapons looks especially fantastic. Nailing your part of this precise on-the-fly choreography of blocking, countering, and dodging unblockable attacks is always rewarding, and the excitement is frequently refreshed by a surprisingly wide selection of enemy types.
It almost looks a little...
But yeah, it's kind of a bummer the humanoid enemies don't get carved up like the droids.
It almost looks a little bit more fluid with this than... Now, obviously, I'm comparing something that was released to an early look at something, but...
The beasties, because moves like this really should take off a chunk. Cal's collection of force powers is pretty conservative. It's mainly a time freeze, push, and pull. But they're all useful in multiple ways in combat and puzzle solving, so it feels more diverse than that. And all I really need is to be able to shove dudes off ledges. Speaking of falling, when you die that way, you instantly come back to try again. But when you're struck down, consequences are more severe but cleverly handled. While you do lose your accumulated XP when you're killed, you get it all back the first time you strike your killer. Not only that, your health and force meter are refilled, so you're taking them on at full strength. That's a great way to give you a leg up against something you had a hard time with already. Also borrowing from Dark Souls, Jedi meditation circles let you set your spawn point and give you the opportunity to spend...
Hold on, I want to see... Hey, look, there we are! See here. I just want to see him walking. Yeah, I guess it's the same.
Found you, intruder.
I remember this board like it was yesterday. I just want to see him walk without fighting or doing the saber or anything. I just want to see... Stop running. Just walk. Oh, for God's sakes. Yeah, I guess it is still a little weird looking. I guess I don't remember it. It looks, I don't know, more obvious, I guess I should say. All right, we saw that one. This is the next one.
I don't think anyone would argue the idea that a Jedi makes for a pretty badass playable video game protagonist. They've got a lightsaber, force powers, they're quick, and they can jump really high. All great innate attributes for an action game, but one challenge about having a Jedi main character is that they're only really known to use lightsabers. That presents a bit of an issue as most good action game heroes have multiple weapons to help keep combat fresh over the course of the game. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order found a solution to this problem by giving Cal two different lightsaber stances, each with their own combat focus and moveset, and with the sequel, Jedi Survivor, Respawn is looking to up the ante with a total of 5 different stances that Cal can use
That's gonna be
over
fun,
the course
with
of
the
his
5
journey.
different stances.
To find out more about each of these stances, I talked with Senior Design Director Jason Harris.
The 5 different stances opens up the game so much more, because in the first one you only had 2, right? But the replayability, once you play through the game the first time, you're gonna try all 5 type of thing. But then your second playthrough, you're like, oh, I'm only going with this one. Like, I want to be the brute, you know, slow, more powerful. Maybe I'll be more agile, but was really quick with the sabers.
And game director Stig Asmussen, who walked me through the design philosophy behind each stance and their unique approaches to combat. One of the big focuses throughout the development of Jedi Survivor has been this concept of Jedi 2.0, and how to take Cal from where he was in Jedi Fallen Order, a young and relatively inexperienced Padawan trying to find his place and identity, to where he is now in Jedi Survivor, a much more confident and capable Jedi Knight who is also 5 years wiser. Asmussen said that the team wanted this change reflected in Cal not just in the story, but through his combat as well. As a result, Cal is a much more capable fighter right from the start in Jedi Survivor.
That makes sense. It's 5 years later, right?
3 saber stances available right from the beginning of the game. Single blade, double bladed, and dual blade.
We felt like it was important to give the player a greater arsenal right off the bat. We had 2 fully realized stances in the first game, and that was the single and that was the
I kind of like the dual sable.
And we had a
dual
stance
sabers
where you had a twin blade, which was something that we wanted to fully realize in the first game, but we basically ran out of time, and it ended up becoming a special move. It was a really cool moment, but it was, not given the same amount of focus and execution. So that was like day one. We're like, we're gonna finish our twin stance.
DeHare said that the team really used the twin blade stance as the jumping off point, because they already knew the roles the single and double blade stances would play in combat. And so they wanted to start by trying to make the twin blades feel unique.
And that's
yeah, I
where
think
we
they
started
are,
thinking,
Water.
okay, let's make twin a little more technical. Still approachable, anybody can pick up and play, but there's a lot more, combat nuance to it.
That combat nuance comes in several forms. For one, you're a bit of a glass cannon. You take more damage, but you attack faster and have a wider array of unique combos, some of which require you to pause for a beat before continuing the combo.
Like, see, like stuff like that, right? Like right there, right? They're at 50% speed, but
some of
this dude, right? You have him exposed. You have 2 sabers on him, and you double hit him on the back. Okay. And it's just like Rick, like he would be dead. He'd be split in half, but it isn't. It's just like it happens. It's a hit, and you move on. It kind of pulls me out of that moment just for a second.
In addition to that, Twin Blade Stance is the only one where you're able to dodge or guard cancel out of the startup animation.
See, and then they do something really cool, right? Now, then they do something really cool. Watch this. Okay, you see the guy's staff. Okay, as he comes with the staff. Here, it'd be easier if I just
move
one.
To
right?
that, Twin Blade Stance
you
is
hit
the
him.
only one where you're able to dodge.
He comes at you, you block it, and then you
guard cancel.
You push it off. You see, he takes the lightsaber and he pushes it off.
Out of the
so there's like these moments inside the animations that you're like, oh, that's really cool. It's a really cool moment, right? Because it seems like you're interacting with the actual things, and then you have stuff where you hit him on the back and you're like, it just doesn't do anything.
Of an attack. Other stances have you commit to your attacks very much like you would in a game.
And obviously vice versa. He hits you with a thing and you have no damage. You know what I mean?
Dark Souls, where once you press the attack button, you have to wait until your attack animation finishes before you can get out of the way. You can rely a little more on your reflexes.
See, I really do like the animations.
Dangerous incoming.
With Twin, we kind of let you ride the line between, reckless and aggression, but you pay for it if you're making mistakes.
Now, see right there, and I know I'm nitpicking, guys. It's just for the show, but I'm just pointing it out. Okay, like you see how he had damage on them, right? Look at the guy. And I think this is a memory thing. I don't know why they can only have a certain amount of things on them before they have to disappear or whatnot. But look at the body armor, right? You see that he's got the slice on his arm, underneath his arm, like right here. And then all of a sudden, when you hit the next hit, it disappears. It just disappears. It doesn't exist anymore.
For it if you're making
right?
mistakes.
The single blade stance is the all-rounder stance of Jedi Survivor. It's got medium range and medium power, and a jack-of-all-trades approach to the skills that utilize it. It's relatively fast, so there's not the same amount of commitment to each attack compared to the
Right? It just did it again right there on him.
slower stances. You can throw your lightsaber out for a mid-range attack, and its special ability is a strong thrusting attack that can be charged to deal heavy stamina damage to single enemies.
See, it just
Like in Fallen
disappears.
Order, the double-bladed
It just disappears at the end, right? You see it, see all the red marks on them? It's not like they fade out. They just disappear. He does the thrust, and all of those marks up and down his whole body disappear as soon as he they just disappear.
heavy stamina damage to single enemies. Like in Fallen Order, the double-bladed stance is the go-to stance for crowd control. If there's a large group of weak B1 droids crowding an area, it's never a bad idea.
The single
to bring
blade,
out
I
that
think,
double
looks
blade
cool. It's
and
that
start dancing your
traditional
way through the
stance.
crowd. It's largely focused
This looks
on close
badass.
range
All those
damage
moves he's doing
spread
right there,
out all
Water.
around Cal. The downside is that there's a lot of startup time to its attacks, making it a weapon that you really need to be careful with when putting it to use against faster enemies.
So what I like about this, they're saying that it's slower to start up. So it's almost you have to, like, if you're using the dual blade, right? Then you have to kind of know what you're doing before you do it, which I think is pretty cool, right? So you know if you're fighting, you have to be like 2 steps ahead of yourself to get it actually moving.
Spread out all around Cal. The downside is that there's a lot of startup time to its attacks, making it a weapon that you really need to be careful with when putting it to use against faster enemies. There will be 2 brand new stances that you'll be able to wield in Jedi Survivor, and while Respawn wanted to keep a lot of the cards relating to these 2 stances close to their chests, we do know that one of them is called the Crossguard stance and utilizes a hilted lightsaber much like the one that
This lightsaber, this is the slow but powerful. This is the Kylo Ren type of blade.
Kylo Ren uses, and the other one is called the Blaster stance, which is a fighting style that incorporates both a lightsaber and a blaster. The Harris
Oh, that's cool. So you get a lightsaber and a blaster.
described the Crossguard stance as a high-risk stance that deals the most
You see that? That's that Captain America moment. You see that? He throws the saber and then he's like, boom, and he catches it. Watch this.
blaster. The Harris described the Crossguard stance as a high-risk
Boom. That's the hammer move right there.
stance that deals the most damage.
You know that they're like, dude, how about he throws that saber and then catches it like Captain America did in Endgame? They're like, dude, we're putting that in.
But Harris described the Crossguard stance as a high-risk stance
100%.
that deals the most damage, but is also the slowest and has the least amount of range.
So that is one where we wanted the player to feel really powerful, but there's a huge risk, probably even more than twin, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
where you
See,
have to
I like this. I see people doing runs. I see people doing runs with just this one.
understand spacing, because with that stance, we don't artificially push you towards an enemy. It's kind of like a fighting game stance a little bit, so we wanted that stance to be a little more,
Yeah, this is
little more
slow
mastery curve there.
but
With
powerful.
regards to the Blaster stance,
Dude, for the little flaws that I see, 95% of it, the animations and the move sets that he's doing look so cool.
A little more mastery curve there.
So
with
cool.
regards to the Blaster stance, the team wanted something with more range, but also thought that a Jedi using a blaster would be a cool opportunity from a story standpoint as well.
I know from a story standpoint, we thought it would be really something that reflects the journey that Cal's going through to do something that's unconventional, something that's usually frowned upon for a Jedi, and kind of putting him in this circumstance where he's doing whatever it takes in the situation. And, that's something that I think through conversations, we were able to really make that work in regards to combat. We wanted something that had more range. We wanted something that kind of had push and pull to it, where like the way the blaster is designed, it encourages you to use your saber in order to like replenish your ammunition on your.
Okay, so that's going to be a weird balance, I have to admit, right? Because it could be OP. So there's got to be a downside to the thing, and obviously you have to reload. So you have to use your saber while you're reloading. But how do you reload? Right? Does it overheat? Does the gun overheat? Is it like, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you just have a saber, block, 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 shoot your gun, block, 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 shoot your gun type of thing.
Your gun, like I said, it's almost this rubber band that we're encouraging the player to engage up close so that they can kind of make decisions when they're far away as well.
To be clear, this is still a melee combat game. You won't be sniping stormtroopers from a distance with the blaster stance.
It's not a shooter, obviously, right? It's like a melee gun, kind of, even though you're really shooting from long range. But
so really, the gun is just for the scrubs.
There's a limit to it. But we always feed back into that thoughtful combat and kind of how we still want you to hit with the saber.
One of the most exciting aspects of these 5 stances is that they all come with their own skill tree. So each stance...
Wow. Each stance comes with their own skill tree. That's huge replayability.
Will have its own set of upgradable skills to help you further develop it. Stances aren't the only thing that have their own skill tree either. There's a tree for force powers and one for survival skills that offer flat increases to your health, force meter, and more. It all amounts to a combat system that offers...
Now I have questions, right? Because if each stance has its own skill tree, and maybe they've said this in another video, I don't know yet. But now that each stance has their own skill tree, can you respect, or once you go up that skill tree, then that's it?
There's a ton of flexibility in how you want to build up your own version of Cal Kestis. You can only equip 2 stances at a time, but you can change them at every meditation point and adjust your loadout for whatever the situation calls for. It's exciting stuff.
Okay, wait a minute. He says that you can only pick 2.
Version of Cal Kestis. You can only equip 2 stances at a time, but you can change them at every meditation point and adjust your loadout for whatever the situation calls for. It's exciting stuff.
Okay. So you can change at any time at a meditation point. So if you go up against somebody and you're like, oh, I want to swap it out to the heavy, you can do that. But again, I don't know if you... I would assume it sounds like you can respec.
I'll go into more detail about it when my full preview for Star Wars Jedi Survivor comes out later this month. Thanks for watching, and for more IGN First coverage of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, make sure to check out our gameplay clip from Kobo, along with a breakdown of some of the new enemies that you'll be fighting. And for everything else, keep it here.
Okay. So now this is a puzzle one, I think.
Ryan McCaffrey here with IGN. I'm at Respawn Entertainment. We are checking out Star Wars Jedi Survivor all month long as part of IGN First. Jeff, you're design director for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
What are we checking out here? There's a lot going on in this game. We've played a lot of it. We'll be
I'm taking a lot of
long.
I'm seeing a lot of. Again, I know Jedi Fallen Order came out before Hogwarts, but fresh off Hogwarts, and then seeing this, I'm getting Trials vibes already from Hogwarts, like the puzzles and things that you have to do to find certain things. So it'll be very interesting to see if there's actual, because the loot that you get inside Hogwarts Legacy, and even the first Jedi Fallen Order, it was just like ponchos, right? So in Hogwarts Legacy, you're getting cosmetics as well, which is fine. I like getting the cosmetics, and some of them are cool, but in Hogwarts Legacy, they're all random. So you could get a cool one, or you could get a really crappy one, cosmetic-wise, but there's nothing like to unlock, like, except for like story elements. Hopefully in this, there's actual things to find and not just more ponchos.
What particular section are we looking at here?
We're looking at a Jedi meditation chamber, which is one of the many types of side content that you can find while exploring one of our planets on Jedi Survivor.
Well, let's dive in here and take a look at it. So you want to get, there is a clear endpoint, and let's, we're not going to reveal and ruin everything, but you're going to need to use your force powers, such as on this switch here, which moves this little rolling track along. And we're going to have to stack some knowledge together, right?
That's
figure
right.
This out?
Yeah, there's multiple things you can interact with the force in here. There's these batteries that you can plug in, and they create these bridges that allow you to traverse like large expanses of
Guys, don't forget to hit that like button.
Is it fair to say this is a puzzle room of sorts?
Yeah, it's kind of a change of pace of gameplay for people that want to dive deep into puzzle type gameplay. We've got some puzzles along
I
the
do like
main
my
path as
puzzle
well,
type
but
gameplay.
For the people who really like puzzles and want to get some more of it,
That's me.
We've got meditation chambers for them.
And are these all optional, or is this we're looking at the first one in the game?
This is actually the first optional one. There is one on Critical Path.
Got it.
But this one you
Critical
can stumble
Path.
upon in one of our regions on our main planet, Kobo.
So first of all, you can I mean, art-wise, this is a very cool, distinct-looking place. How would you describe the artistic?
In Hogwarts Legacy, you levitate something, Levioso, to move it. In Jedi Fallen Order or Survivor, you use the Force to pick it up and move it, right? Technically, the Jedi are just wizards from a different universe.
Artistic vibe here within the context of the Star Wars universe.
Well, these are ancient chambers. They've been around on this planet for hundreds of years. And it is a location where Jedi of the past would train and test their Jedi abilities.
All right, so we're going over here to this other side.
Another thing here is we have Force Echoes and scans where Cal can learn information about Jedi of the past who tried these challenges, maybe failed, maybe succeeded. Just characters in the past who were trying to hone their Jedi skills just like you are.
So this one isn't particularly platformy, but platforming's definitely a big element in Jedi Fallen Order. I suspect
This board looks
probably
cool
the case
too, just the design of
in
it.
certain sections of Jedi Survivor. Is it fair to say that the different Jedi chambers will test different skills as you solve their puzzles?
Yeah, we have all of our types of gameplay mixed in within the puzzles, although puzzling's the primary aspect of these chambers. Cal's going to have to use his traverse abilities as well as his force abilities, maybe even combat abilities, to complete these different chambers.
Now, it's fair to ask, are the rewards worth it for players? Because for some people,
Good question,
if you just
McCaffrey.
Get, a new piece of outfit for Cal, like maybe
poncho,
I don't
for
want to bother
example.
with the chamber.
That's right.
Yeah,
The poncho.
But sometimes maybe the reward in certain things could be a skill point or something really tangible to your character. So, would you say that the Jedi chambers have pretty solid rewards in them?
Absolutely, yeah. One of our new types of rewards this game are
New type of reward. I'm listening.
called perks. So perks are abilities that you can slot in to the perk system, and they can actually change your gameplay.
Okay. That's nice. Again, I'm going to compare it, and this is why I think Hogwarts Legacy did a good job, and I'm not saying it's the first game, but in Hogwarts Legacy, when you go into certain dungeons and get to the chest, you would find, or you would fight certain guys, you would open up a chest, and it would have that perk that you could put onto your gear later on, and that was kind of worth it, right? Especially later in the game. So Jedi Fallen Order, they didn't have the perk system and stuff like that. You literally just found ponchos is what you were finding. So I'm glad to hear, which I just referenced before, he said it, hopefully there was more reason to go into these things. Like, I like doing the puzzles, I like doing the stuff, but now there's actually a reason to complete the puzzle to get a perk. Now I want to know if it's a random perk, or if every time I went into that dungeon or puzzle, if it would be the same perk, or is it just random perks?
Customize Cal's gameplay, mostly in combat. So we really wanted to focus on really tangible rewards this time for exploration. So yes, we're gonna have lots of cosmetic, a deep.
Yeah, but they wanted to play Hogwarts, Water, but they didn't change the game while they were playing Hogwarts. They already had this built in the game.
Cosmetic.
I'm just saying that you can see like similarities, and the only reason I bring up Hogwarts is because it's fresh, it's out.
System.
This is more. This almost feels like the same thing, right? Now, obviously, it's not like super open world, like Hogwarts, but it's got the puzzles of it. It's got the combat, right? It feels almost like the same type of...
To customize Cal, but also we want to be able to customize the gameplay style.
That was a quick look at the Jedi Chambers in
Oh, I
Star
wanna
Wars
watch
Jedi
this.
Survivor. Don't miss our 9-minute...
Hold on a second. No, we're not watching that yet. That's Starship Troopers. I want to see what that looks like. Okay, we got that. Okay, this is the next one.
As part of our continuing coverage of Star Wars Jedi Survivor for IGN First, we wanted to showcase the straight combat gameplay that we use for our lightsaber stance explainer, so you can enjoy all the action and scout trooper dismemberment without my voice
Did you see that?
Please note that this
Lost
is
a
a
leg.
test environment, not a level pulled from the actual game, and a showcase of just 4 of the 5 stances. With all that said, enjoy, and keep it here on IGN for more Star Wars Jedi Survivor all throughout February.
Okay, so this is the single blade stance. Yeah, that's exactly what they said, Jesse.
Stay put. You call it a battle?
And you just swap stances. So it depends to pull the trigger on the PSVR 2. 225-inch screen in cinema mode. Playing this game. Oh, that would be pretty good. Yeah, I think I might go either dual blade. Dual blade or dual wielding. This one does look good, though. Here's another thing. The person, whoever's playing, is not very good, right? And I'm not saying I'm better than them, but when you see gameplay, he's missing a lot of blocks where he shouldn't be taking damage. And if you had someone that really knew how to play the game, it would even sell it better. All right. And then we got the last one that IGN has here. And this is 7 minutes.
As a fan of Star Wars, Souls-likes, and big-budget single-player action games, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was a game that spoke to me on multiple levels. It successfully merged the risk-reward elements of From Software's Soul series with the power fantasy that inherently comes with being a Jedi. That said, it wasn't a perfect combination. Backtracking without any means of fast travel was annoying. Exploration
that was brutal.
Rewarded primarily with underwhelming cosmetics, and I couldn't help but wish that I could do a little more with my powers than just push, pull, and slow. I say all of this because my main takeaway from roughly 5 hours with the upcoming sequel, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, is that I felt like I was systematically crossing off the issues I had with Fallen Order. Survivor feels grander without ever letting the burgeoning scope compromise the exploration and sense of discovery that serves as its heart. My preview time was broken up with me spending about 4 hours on the planet Kobo, a gigantic and wide open planet that largely serves as Cal's home away from home throughout the course of Jedi Survivor's story, and then about an hour on a moon planet to showcase some more traditional combat and platforming encounters that fans have come to expect.
Okay, what I was gonna say was I really like what he just said as far as like what Jedi Fallen Order did, and then now what Jedi Survivor has done in his small amount of time he's playing. His gripes that he had with Fallen Order, the little things like fast travel and certain things, they've taken that and they've built upon it to make it better. And that's what you want in a sequel, right? You don't want the same old stuff just with a new skin. Right, they've taken the elements and they've added on top of the already really done well game, and they heard what people were saying, like there's no fast travel. I hated that there's no fast travel. Here's what I like about fast travel. Like, if you don't like fast travel, if you think fast traveling is cheap or you don't want to use it, then you don't have to use it. But if you want fast travel because you don't want to walk your ass back all the way back to a certain point, then you can use fast travel. I personally like this. Now, we don't know if the fast travel is that I can just fast travel anytime I want, or do I need to find a fast travel point to go from fast travel to fast travel?
Let's start off with Kobo, because it represents the biggest change in Jedi Survivor versus Fallen Order. A vast open world that sprawls out in every direction, with interesting encounters and rewards everywhere you turn. We've already shown you 9 minutes of Kobo gameplay as part of our IGN First coverage, but what we haven't really gotten...
Who hates fast travel? There's lots of people. There's a small community out there, Ford, that doesn't like fast travel, and I never understood that, right? They feel like it's like it cheapens the game. And I'm like, well, if you think it cheapens the game, then don't use it, right? Imagine Skyrim with no fast travel. Like, you walked your ass over the map for like an hour and a half to get to the other side, and then all of a sudden you have to go back the other direction. Now, if you want to, you can walk your ass back, but otherwise you could use fast travel. There are people that do not like fast travel.
To point out is the fact that most of the footage covers only the introduction to the planet, which is a fairly traditional linear portion that guides you through caves, valleys, and mountain trails, but then opens wide up once you get to the southern reach. In a moment that brought to my mind the very first time you step out onto the Great Plateau in Breath of the Wild.
Those people are
My main
insane.
goal throughout this entire section was to reach the cantina to find someone to repair my crashed Mantis. And I could have just booked it over there to get on with the story, but if I did, I would have missed out on so much meaningful exploration. Off in one direction, there was a hidden cave that housed an incredibly tough and incredibly cool boss battle that I'd be remiss to spoil for you here. Off in another direction, there was a Bedlam Raider camp with stormtrooper armor on spikes and a nasty surprise waiting for me in a trapdoor that led underground. And if I took another path, I'd eventually find a Jedi chamber that housed a gigantic puzzle room. Other paths still were closed off until I found a particular upgrade. Better still, all of these...
So it's like, you know, I'm seeing a lot of similarities, right? Hogwarts took what the thing was and made it into what Hogwarts... I think that's why Hogwarts is successful. And now Jedi Survivors continue doing what they were doing. I think this is going to be a very successful game. This is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to play.
Rewarding. Most offered me skill points for my trouble.
I love exploring. I love trying to find the little puzzles and that the whole package. I can't wait for it. It's going to be great.
Which are much more valuable in Survivor due to the fact that there are now individual skill trees for each lightsaber stance, your force powers, and for flat health and force upgrades. And even the treasure chests that offer cosmetic items have vastly improved rewards due to the fact that you can find entirely different outfits for Cal to wear, as opposed to just different designs of ponchos.
What, you don't have 15 types of ponchos? Thank God. Thank God. That it would be funny. It would be funny if the devs put a poncho in just like the very first thing you open up is a poncho. You'd be like, come on.
In addition to that, you can even find new hairstyles to equip Cal with. My personal favorite so far was a bandana that made him look a little bit like Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Kobo is massive, but thankfully I never felt lost thanks to some truly excellent map features.
I love the fact, and maybe people don't like this, and I think these people are insane. I love the fact that in this game now, in Spider-Man, in Jedi Fallen Order, and Jedi Survivor and Hogwarts. For years, there's been this like thing that I don't want to find cosmetics in games, and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, you would rather pay $10 for a cosmetic instead of having that cosmetic in a dungeon, you find it somewhere, or you kill a boss and you get that thing somewhere. So I really like that these games are going back, right? Spider-Man came out in 2018. This Fallen Order came out in 2019. Hogwarts came out this now, and now Survivor's coming out. And these type of games all have the cosmetics within the game itself. You don't have to pay $10 or $15, or you have to get a pre-order. Obviously, there are pre-orders for this. You get the Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think, robe or whatever. But you see what I'm saying? Like, there's things in the game that you can make your guy look the way you want, but you have to go out and play the game and actually find these objects.
Features like automatic markers that highlight passageways that lead to unexplored areas, symbols that let you know what areas you can't access yet with your current abilities, a trail that marks the way you just came, and of course, fast travel. Thank Yoda for fast travel. Even better, Cal eventually also gains the ability to tame beasts, so he can use them as mounts or as ways to traverse large.
That's cool. So you can tame animals.
Fast travel. Thank Yoda for fast travel. Even better, Cal eventually also gains the ability to tame beasts, so he can use them as mounts or as ways to traverse large gaps. All of these additions, on top of just stellar art design, all add up to make the act of exploring Koboh a joy. Another thing that struck me as I was playing was how good both the level and enemy design was at setting up fun opportunities for you to use your force powers in fun ways. Mini-boss arenas are full of objects that can be force-pulled and thrown to deal big damage.
I'm telling you, man. I hate to keep bringing it up. In Hogwarts, when you're fighting people, right? There's objects to pick up and throw, right? Do you see a theme here? Successful games, they copy each other, right? And obviously, I'm not saying this is copying Hogwarts, because obviously this is made during the exact same time frame, and they had stuff like this in the first one. But do you see what makes a game? They're like, oh, when we're fighting a boss, what happens? Well, if it's just two people in an arena, what do we do? Well, why don't we get some things in there you can throw it at them and whatnot. Great.
Rolling mines are both a constant threat and a constant blessing when you can send them back at pursuing foes. And there were plenty of opportunities to end a battle before it began by force-pushing foes off a ledge. Koboh is also not a one-stop shop. It's a planet that you're meant to return to many times over the course of Cal's adventure. Aside from the aforementioned locked passageways that Cal won't be able to progress through until he gets a specific upgrade, the cantina and the town it resides
Can't open the doors to get the lock. Can't go up here to get a super jump.
in Rambler's Ranch doubles as sort of a home base for Cal. There are vendors to purchase new customization options, colorful NPCs to talk to, and every
Was there vendors in the first game? I don't remember.
to purchase new custom. Rambler's Ranch doubles as sort of a home base for Cal. There are vendors to purchase new customization options, colorful NPCs to talk to, and every time you come back, you can be certain there will be something new to check out. The second area I got to play was on an unnamed moon planet that Cal and his companion Bode visit sometime later in the game. In comparison to Koboh, this felt like a much more traditional style of level that would have been right at home in Jedi Fallen Order. That isn't to take anything away from it though, because it was a ton of fun, with a healthy balance of both death-defying platforming challenges and edge-of-my-seat combat encounters. The thing that stood out most about this level though was that there was almost a horror theme to it.
What is that logo that pops over the head?
Combat encounters.
Why does this show up? I wonder what this is. Obviously, BD can he loot for you or scan for you? Like, what is happening here?
The thing that stood out
Like, what is this? Oh, scan. It is a scan.
most about this level though was that there was almost a horror theme to it. Turns out that the enemies were expecting Cal, and thus most of them were lying in ambush. The beginning was very tense as it seemed like enemies were hiding around just about every corner waiting to get the jump on me. Even in a level that was much more linear, there still were plenty of goodies hidden off the beaten path, including Jedi Survivor's take on a DMC-like challenge room. In it, I had to face off against wave after wave of what seemed like hundreds upon hundreds of B1 droids that would all go down in 1 or 2 hits, but could very easily swarm and overwhelm me. It was an absolute blast, and surprisingly tough as well, once they started mixing in some droids that would self-destruct if I didn't force push them away, or otherwise just get the heck out of there in time. I love this encounter because it's something that wouldn't have made sense
Yeah,
within
you could
the context
craft,
of the actual
Jesse,
level, but in a
the
sealed-off
cosmetics
space where
weren't.
anything goes, it
The
was
crafting
perfect
system
kind
wasn't the
of combat
best. I mean, you
test.
could make your
I hope
lightsaber
there
look
are
the way you
tons more
wanted
of these,
to.
and I'd happily search every nook and cranny to find them. I could go on about the Jedi Chamber puzzle rooms, the fun new force powers, the exciting story beats that took place after I stepped foot into the cantina, or some of the awesome boss battles I had to overcome. But it's all stuff that
You would be so dead. Like how he slams you on the
cantina,
ground.
or some of the awesome
Watch how he
boss
picks you
battles
up.
I had to overcome. But it's all stuff that's
He hulks
probably
you
better
like Loki.
experience for yourself once the game comes out on April 28th. In the meantime, make sure to check out our breakdown of the 5 lightsaber stances, a look at 8 new enemies you'll face off against, and a quick peek at just one of the aforementioned Jedi Chamber puzzle rooms, as our coverage of Star Wars Jedi Survivor continues all throughout the month of February. Thanks for watching, and for everything else, keep it here on IGN.
Yeah, I'm excited about this game. This game looks fantastic. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm really excited about this game overall. Great year for games, I think. I mean, Water, we said it right before Hogwarts came out. We said Hogwarts is coming out. We got Jedi Survivor coming out. We got Spider-Man 2 coming out. There's other games in there in the mix that I can't think of right now. But there's so many there's so many good games that are coming out that we know that are good games, right? Because this is a sequel. Hogwarts wasn't a sequel, but it just looked like they had their stuff together, right? They just looked like they had their stuff together. And now we know that Hogwarts Legacy is a great game. And then we have Jedi Survivor. Jedi Fallen Order was a fantastic game, so we're assuming it's going to be on the same level, if not a little bit above. And then we have Spider-Man 2, knowing that it's going to be on the same level as Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and it's going to be raise the bar, you know? So many good games coming out. Uni God. Yeah. The stances in this game, the animations, the world. I can't wait to go into the story and whatnot. I mean, if you only buy 3 games this year, if you buy Hogwarts, Jedi, and Spider-Man, you're golden, right? Oh, Diablo 4. Diablo 4, I see some problems with Diablo 4 as far as looking at it as it's a multiplayer game. Someone brought it up the other day that you could play it single player, but a lot of the stuff in the game, like there's world bosses and stuff that you're going to need to play with other people. What I like about single player games is that you could just play it anytime you want. Now, I wish some games had co-op, and it would be cool, right? Like Hogwarts would be cool to go play with somebody. It would be cool if you could do co-op in this game. Not necessary, but, you know, it would be cool. Doesn't make lore sense in this eternal story. I'm excited. I've been really like on a low with Star Wars, right? I've been really down low on Star Wars. Star Wars lately to me and Marvel to me have been really on a downbeat. And now with Mando Season 3 coming out, I'm kind of excited for that, okay, to build up my hopes a little bit. It might trash them, but build up my hopes. But after watching Mando, I know when Mando is done, this game is out, and then we're going to be playing some more Star Wars. And then once I'm done with this game, probably Ahsoka show will come out. So there might be uptick on Star Wars. Let's go on, Stealth. With the world bosses, though, can't you just auto party with others and currently fighting? But what I'm saying, Water, is that there's probably certain content that you can't touch by yourself in Diablo, is all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. There's probably content in there that you can't do by yourself. Yeah, I'm excited. The animations and stuff. The only thing I had discrepancy with, really, like actual, like his walk just looked weird or different, but it might be like an early build. Yeah, Mando season 3 is coming next week. Yeah, I might wait. A couple weeks and watch a few. I still haven't watched the full season of Bad Batch yet. I don't even know it's over. They haven't talked about the ultimate ability yet at the bottom. That little meter at the bottom. It's got to be an ultimate ability. I think it's really cool. The stances and the skill trees and the perks that they talked about, right? So you have skill trees and you'll find perks, and certain perks will help you with certain things. Right? So if you find certain perks and then all of a sudden, let's say it helps you with your dual sabers, then you're playing, you're leveling up your dual saber skill tree. It would be fantastic. Is Bad Batch any good? I like the first season, Travis. The second season, I've watched 2 episodes. It's so far so good. If you don't like the Clone Wars animated series, you probably won't like Bad Batch. But if you like the Clone Wars animated series, it's right up the same alley as that. Yeah, we're definitely gonna go back and play Jedi Fallen Order leading up to this game. One, to get back into the rhythm, right? One, to get back in the rhythm because I don't want to go into this game cold turkey. I want to dust off the cobwebs of my battling. There are people in the area, but you can't take one down without others, is what they've said. I want the animated and Versio time in the Empire. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, Clone Wars is probably some of the best Star Wars, Travis. Well, that's good to hear, Jesse. I like it. I like Bad Batch. I like Bad Batch season 2 so far. Like I said, I've only watched, I think, 2 episodes. I've only watched 2 episodes. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys, what's your feeling on Jedi Survivor? Some of you said you haven't even played Fallen Order. That's a must. If you're a Star Wars fan, okay, Jedi Fallen Order is a must play. It's probably one of the best Star Wars games out there, right? I know Brain earlier was saying like Force Unleashed. He wants like a remake of that. That was pretty good back in the day. This is up there as one of the best games of Star Wars that they've created. EA Star Wars greater than Disney Star Wars. Yeah, I would say that. I would agree, Travis. It's really hard for me to say EA is good at anything, but it's true. They've done a good job with the Battlefront series, minus the loot box scenario, and they've done a really good job with Fallen Order. Squadron wasn't very good. Squadrons wasn't very good, but it was a cheaper game. It was like $40 when it came out. Would love a remake of Shadows of Empire. Here's something I kind of want to bring up, right? Now that we know that there's multiple Star Wars games coming out, and we just had a talk the other day about, has the bubble burst for Marvel? Is there going to be a time, because right now there's no Star Wars movies in the works, right? We have Star Wars shows coming out, but do you think the bubble will burst after all these Star Wars games come out? Because they want to release 2 Star Wars games a year, a big title and a smaller title every single year for the next like 5 to 6 years, right? Do you think there will be a time? I mean, obviously we don't know, but do you think there'll be a time like 3 years from now where like, I'm just so tired of Star Wars games? Need to finish Fallen Order, but this is a day one buy. Yeah, it's funny with all the games that I play on like Game Pass and whatnot. I mean, I already know right off the bat that I was buying Hogwarts, I was buying Jedi Fallen or Survivor. I'm trying to think if there's one more game, because I don't have a PlayStation 5. Another good thing, this is not on old consoles. This is just on next gen. Only on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. So that's a really good thing about this. More games that are coming out need to drop the old systems. I'm sorry if you're on an old system. I'm sorry if you bought the system in year 9 of its 12-year cycle. Okay, but they need to drop the old systems so now the new games could shine on the new systems. If Phase 5 sucks, then yes, the bubble will burst. Oh, as far as Marvel. I mean, I think the bubble's already bursted. 2 years of Phase 4 was horrendous, Water. The MCU plays a vital part in the comic, gaming, and point in time. This is one of the reasons that the Marvel's Avengers failed. Marvel's Avengers. That's good. They tried to stray away from the MCU and failed. This is definitely a trilogy. 100%. Whatever happens in this game, the Survivor, this is definitely a trilogy. Respawn would be idiots if they didn't release the next one in like 2020. I guess it would be 2020, 2026, 2027. Well, did you hear the latest story? Did you hear the latest story of what's happening with Ant-Man's ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, Water? So the ratings there haven't moved. It's been stuck at 85% for 6 days now. Double the amount of votes came in, and it hasn't budged, right? Which is just weird. And then, on top of that, there's people from the inside saying that Ant-Man suffered of the special effects because they put all the money and all the forces onto Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I start laughing because the CGI in that movie was terrible. So they're saying that the Ant-Man's special effects, the CGI and whatnot, suffered because they didn't put enough money towards it. They didn't give them enough time. They did like crunch time for it. And now they're coming out and saying that Marvel and Disney, one, doesn't pay their bills. And I told you that years ago, that Disney World doesn't pay their bills. Okay? They try to take advantage of the little people all the time, the workers all the time. They don't pay their bills. So there's a lot of drama going on on the outside, or I should say behind the scenes of the newest movie. 100% agree with you, 30. Waiting for Bungie to announce when they'll leave behind the last gen of Destiny can shine. Well, they've already done that once with Destiny 2, right? Destiny 2 was not on the Xbox One, correct? I thought Destiny 2 left, or am I thinking, God, it's been so long. Did they drop the 360 to move to the One? That's what it was. They came out on the 360, came over to the One, and now you want them to drop the One to move on to the next one. I think Destiny will do that with Destiny, the next Destiny 3. I think they'll do that, Ford. Yeah, they were bombing. I enjoyed it, though. It's a decent lead into the show mainstream, who Kang is. Disney's better start paying their bills. It seems like ever since the purchase of Marvel, it's been downhill. Yeah, I remember for it. Yeah, it is on last gen. I remember switching from the 360 because it came out in 2014. And I remember playing it on the 360 and then getting a One to play it. And then once Destiny 2 came out, they dropped the 360. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the sales numbers are on this. I want to know what the sales numbers were for Jedi Fallen Order. It's been years, so they could tell us, because it's probably sales numbers. So it was a commercial success, selling more than 10 million copies by 2020. It was nominated for several end-of-the-year accolades, including Best Action, Adventure Game, and the Game of Awards. Sequel Star Wars Adventure set in April 2023. Did it sell well? Let's see. It says it's 10 million, but that was by 2020. It came out in 2019. So they have to sell more than 20 million, right? Okay, here it is. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has clocked 20 million players. 20 million, obviously a big number. It's also notable that Respawn is publicly attributing the player count to both games. Yeah, but it didn't sell. Did it sell that? The figure of 20 million players. Launched November of 2019. The game would also sell 6 to 8 million units by March of 2020. Right? So the first, 4 months, it sold almost 10 million copies. Fallen Order, the second best-selling game of the 12 months leading up to October. Yeah, there's no reports of what it sold up until total sales numbers. So it's about 20 million copies, but obviously it's on sale and whatnot. So they sold 10 million copies right off the bat. Well, the first 4 months, not right off the bat. So this is going to sell. It could sell a little less just because it's on the next gen systems, but I think there's enough people that own a PlayStation 5, a PC, and an Xbox that they'll definitely sell between 5 and 8 million, I would say, the first month, the initial release. I think so. Hogwarts apparently is doing crazy numbers. They keep saying crazy numbers and stuff, Water, but they don't tell us what that number is. All right. Real quick, I want to see this. IGN has a minute 24 video of Starship Troopers. I want to see what this is.
You've shown incredible resolve, Trooper, doing your part for the mobile infantry of the Terran Federation. But it's time to take the next step and join the elite in the Deep Space Vanguard. Will you rain death from above as an assault unit? Provide additional cover and suppressing fire as a heavy infantry? Or support troopers with medical aid and critical resources? Whatever your strengths, the Deep Space Vanguard is the place for you. Once your boot's on the ground, the infestation will feel relentless. We'll need you to gather resources and establish footholds so we can take back colonies for the Federation. Let's get to work, Trooper.
We need some defenses here.
It's a first-person tower defense.
We got contact! Bombs!
Yeah, the way they're doing it is just like the movie.
And remember, the only good bug is a dead bug.
When does it come out? Do they have a date? Do we have a date on that? It's only out on PC. It's not coming to consoles. This thing. Anyway, what's going on? Can I play as Rico? That's all I want. I did like the cheesiness. I did like the cheesiness of the trailer, just like the movie. That's a seller. That's a seller. Let me see. Starship Extermination. It just says 2023 release. It doesn't say anything else. Is it just 4-player co-op? You're right though. You're right though, Water. That's like a 5-hour game, great with friends, and then you'll put it down. Oh, no, it's a 12-player 12 players can team up in squads of 4 to defend the base. So it's 3 teams of 4. Three playable classes. Build defenses, class progression system, 5 unique bug types, escalation infestation levels, large-scale battles, ground war. That might be fun. That might be fun. It says early access game. Get instant access and start playing. Get involving with the game as it develops. It's not complete. It's out. Battlefield 2042 Season 4 official trailer from Battlefield YouTube channel. If you want to check it out. Yeah, let's check it out. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Alexia Christofi from the Battlefield 2042 development team. Welcome to Season 4, 11th Hour. Let's start with our new map, Flashpoint. Here's a look at what you can expect from it.
Welcome to the Richtersveld, a once thriving biodiversity hotspot based in the rugged desert of northern South Africa. Now an abandoned development complex doomed for failure. And our next setting for Season 4, 11th Hour. This is Flashpoint. Get your squad together and make your move on Flag A1, a short to medium vehicle-friendly combat zone that you need to take command of or risk losing it to the enemy. Move forward with your squad to Flag B1, but have your wits about you, as this multi-tiered, short to medium close quarters combat area will be swimming with enemies, all just waiting to take a pop. Get your whole squad in the CAV Brawler and get straight into the fray at Flag C1, where the fight will be above, below, and close quarters at every turn. Word of warning, keep an eye out for sharpshooters. Bring a ground vehicle and your A-game to Flag D1 as you take the fight inside using the vehicle elevator, and with ample cover, any infantry at your side will stand a chance to make it out alive. A short sprint across the desert to Flag E1, where an infantry-focused turbine room and side tower awaits, until the building comes crashing down on you. Regroup your squad and lead the way to Flag F1, a large team deathmatch-inspired space that's yours for the taking. All wrapped around a large and central reactor core, a close-quarters combat dream. Push onwards to Flag G1 and lock it down fast. This is one flag you want to control and keep the enemy back. Get out there and be a class above, notepads.
Season 4 also brings with it a new specialist, Camilla Blasco. Here's what she brings to the battlefield.
Get me close, and I'll get us through this.
As you saw, she's an ambush expert. Using her reconnaissance training and customized tactical gear to move without alerting motion-based technology. Her X6 infiltration device prevents any lock-ons from hostile devices.
That's pretty.
It also interferes with active spotting technology and creates communication dead zones within its range until destroyed or deactivated. This dead zone also pinpoints and reveals enemy tech to allow for quick, effective disposal, making her a great tactical asset to your new squad. Blasco will sit within the Recon class and be the last specialist we bring to the game. There are now 14 in total, all bringing a variety of gameplay across.
Did you hear that? The last specialist they bring to the game.
The 4 classes. Our focus is to continue to listen to your feedback and bring design and balance changes to our return to the class system, as well as expanding on skins and cosmetics to give you more ways to stand out on the battlefield. Looking to expand your arsenal? Well, Season 4 brings an array of new weapons with it. The Super 500 shotgun sidearm may seem high risk, but it also brings with it the opportunity of high reward. A compact, stockless pump-action shotgun that's perfect for both breaching and close-quarters combat situations. It has a short range, so it's perfect for that sidearm slot to deal some extra damage. The RM-68 assault rifle, a next-generation assault rifle with built-in silencer, offers counterweight for improved stability and recoil control. Powered by 6.8mm plastic-cased ammo, it's a versatile rifle with integrated canted sights and a unique muzzle device that allows you to adapt to every situation, perfect for those up-close and personal battles on Flashpoint. The AC-9 SMG is an extremely lightweight submachine gun, set up for fast hip-fire exchanges.
It is team play,
Its small size makes it far more controllable than its rate of fire would make you believe. The RPT-31 is a new prototype LMG with a low rate of fire, heavy hitting rounds, and a very fast bullet speed. Its brand new design fulfills the need for a belt-fed, intermediate caliber machine gun, offering high mobility but excellent cover fire capabilities. Season 4 will also bring with it more Vault weapons, content from Portal that is now available for use in all-out warfare. At the start of the season, you'll get to experience the SVD from Battlefield 3, a semi-automatic sniper rifle with a 10-round magazine. It has a strong default zoom on its scope, making it great for those long-range engagements. You will also be able to get your hands on the Type 88 LMG, another Battlefield 3 edition. The CAV Brawler is perfect for the close-quarters combat you'll experience on the Flashpoint map, as it's able to be equipped with a detection pulse that locates enemy soldiers close by. When you're on the defensive, its threat detection system is able to highlight when you're being attacked. Then its active protection system and close defense system can take out enemy projectiles and targets close by with grenades. It's perfect for squad play across the classes. With its open seats vital for repairing the vehicle or taking on enemies, it can also be used to spawn on by your entire squad, even when all the seats are occupied. The SPH explosive launcher is Season 4's new gadget. It fires explosives that latch onto its target and explode after a delay. Effective against infantry, it shoots up to 2 projectiles that are housed inside one casing before needing to reload. Season 4 will of course include a new battle pass, featuring 100 tiers of free and premium content. From Tier 0's new legendary skin for an old friend, to Tier 100 specialist set for Blasco. You can play to unlock her, the new weapons, gadget, vehicle, and tons of cosmetics to help you stand out on the battlefield. And as with previous seasons, players who manage to reach Tier 100 will receive enough Battlefield currency to unlock Season 5's Battle Pass.
Could you imagine that?
In our 3.2 update, we made a return to the class system for Battlefield 2042.
I'm going to speak on that in a second, Stealth.
Our specialists are now assigned into one of our 4 classic and familiar classes: Assault, Recon, Support, and Engineer. We've redefined the gear and equipment each class has access to shape a more structured and understandable role on the battlefield for you all. With your own distinct class gadget and skills crucial to success on the battlefield, playing as a squad has never been more vital. Since Season 1, we've brought you evolved, reworked versions of our launch maps, and there's 2 more to go. Later in Season 4, you'll get to experience the updated Discarded. So let's take a look at how it's shaping up.
We've given more importance to the flag position in the submarine, while adding neo cover to block line of sight, especially when coming from...
You guys see the difference there? Did you see the difference? Check out the old. That's the old. That's the new. Did you guys see it? That's the old. That's the new.
From the corridors into this room. We've also worked on the lighting across the map to improve visibility. We've strengthened this flag on the Colossus deck to allow soldiers in the lookout to keep the beach under control, with an added variety of cover to...
That's old. That's new. Oh, lights. Yeah. Look, they added some sandbags and stuff.
To improve infantry combat, the destroy...
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm a huge Battlefield fan. I'm really upset about Battlefield 2042. Just because I'm playing on Game Pass and I have enjoyed my time with the game. I said it before and I've said it again. Before it came out, I said it'd take 18 months to fix the game. Okay? I said this at launch. Here we are. 1 year. Okay? 1 year and 3 months after. And they're almost ready for launch. They're almost ready for launch.
Chip tower gives the space a more epic look and feel. What used to be an open field has become the salvage yard, designed to host a variety of combat, the car wrecks and the flip buses.
Wow, look at that difference. Look at that difference. The construction crew came in and they built a town. Look at that.
Provide cover and alleyway-like paths that can give infantry the upper hand. A destroyed convoy and rows of military cover have been added to strengthen the front lines of this flag in the dismantled hull. The smoke from the convoy provides cover from snipers on the upper floors of the hull. We've also closed a part of the hull to limit frequent sniping from the...
What's the difference? What? Very little difference. They put more...
the deck of the ship. We've now made this flag in the beach worksite part of Conquest and Breakthrough, so there's always an objective between...
for God's
between
sake.
the Colossus ship and the dismantling yard. There are improved paths leading to it by streamlining the roads and adjusting the cover across the beach. The new centerpiece allows for mid to long range combat, with cover to make it more approachable for infantry, yet still with space for vehicles to drive around it. We have brought an existing flag closer to the flooded village to better link the north and south parts of the map. This will...
I did hate that this base was so far off. I was like, it's so stupid that it's super far off.
Between these 2 points more easily. Climb the antenna and parachute or wingsuit down to the Colossus or the village.
Then in Season 5, we'll bring you the final reworked map, Hourglass. It will feature a new route under the highway as part of our overall effort.
In Season 5, they'll bring you the fix for Hourglass. They launched 8 maps, right? They launched 8 maps, and they took 18 months to fix the 8 maps that they brought out. They released the last and final specialist. Do you know why it's the last specialist? Because right now, the game took them 2 years to make, right? They worked on it for 2 years, 3 years. They had an additional year and a half to launch it, which would make it close to 5 years, 4.5 to 5 years. And now the game's out. Do you see what I'm saying here, folks?
Efforts to reduce distance between objectives to allow for improved cover, sightlines, and combat. Similar to previous map reworks, we'll be adding a war-torn atmosphere throughout. We'll show you more as we get closer to Season 5. Speaking of Season 5, we thought we'd give you a tease of its new map. It's a battleground where armies clashed decades ago, trying to secure a vital train track being used for the transportation of armaments. Now, as the region is once again engulfed in conflict, attempts are taking place to capture the route for the delivery of heavy armor to key positions. Attempting to stop the enemy's plans, a counter-offensive prepares for an ambush that will secure the much-needed supply line and tip the balance of power back in their favor. And that's it from me today. We're so proud of the work we have done to improve and evolve the game, and we love hearing the fun...
To improve and evolve the game? No. You should be proud that you got the game back to 0. You got it back to where Battlefield was. You just wasted 3 years of development trying to change what it was just to get it back to where it was.
Fun you're all having in Battlefield 2042 now. So, let us know what you think of Season 4. We can't wait for you to get to play it. See you on the battlefield.
Okay. Here's the thing that Krebsy said yesterday. He's like, I'm not going to give credit to something that they should have been. And this is the perfect example, right? I'm not going to give them credit, okay, for doing what they should have done in the first place. Okay? Going back to what Stealth said a little bit ago. He says that this can be Sony's COD replacement. Imagine this, Stealth. Activision's sale goes through. Okay? Now they have the #1 selling first-person shooter game. Sony decides to buy EA. That way they have the sports, and then they have Battlefield. And then they make Battlefield, and all of a sudden, all these Sony fanboys that were COD fans would come on over to Battlefield. It would implode what Battlefield was, because Battlefield just spent the last year and a half fixing the game not to be like COD, and then to make it back like Battlefield. But COD people don't like Battlefield. But if Sony picked up Battlefield, the Sony fanboys would be in love with Battlefield, and they would turn that into COD. That's what would happen. That's what would happen. Jesse, you said that they fixed the destructible environment. Is that true? Like, do actual buildings blow up now? Excuse me. I mean, look, great changes. Great changes. Okay? But literally, this is a change. The lighting. They're like, oh yeah, we made some great strides. We're so proud of us for turning the lights on. See, guys, you have to buy microtransaction. They weren't talking about the physical lights inside their studio. They were talking about the lights in the game. You buy microtransactions, you pay $120 for the early edition of the game, and it turns the lights on. You got to keep the lights on. Sony could always just revive some of their own first-person shooter games like Killzone. Yeah, I don't know if they would throw money into Killzone, but you're not wrong, Ford. In the trailer, yes, but would DICE put the actual game? Nope. Oh, in the trailer they showed it. That's one of the things that a lot of things. I mean, a lot of these like this is the change. Like they literally. Like, look at this. Great. We put more stuff in. This is what I don't understand. Just make a game, finish that game, and then sell that game. But because the consumers, and I'm throwing myself into this, we're just a bunch of sheep, goldfish, right? We're like, oh, it looks so good. They jangled some keys in front of us. We're like, oh, that's Battlefield. They showed us a C4 on a Jeep, and they threw it at a plane. They jumped out of a plane. They showed a tornado. People threw $120 at it for the early access. And here we are almost 18 months later, and we're finally getting back to zero. Back to what Battlefield was. They got rid of the specialty stuff. They put them back into regular classes. They fixed the maps that they originally launched. If this doesn't prove to you that they just rushed it out the door just so they can make money, and this is an obligation now, this is an obligation. The only reason they're fixing it is because there was so much pushback and the sales numbers sucked. They went, uh-oh, we made a problem. Yeah, sure, we got $120 per person to get this game when it launched, but we lost and tarnished the name. We have to fix this. What do we do? Well, we're already working on the next Battlefield, hence why they said this is the last specialist coming out, because they've already moved on now, right? Now there's a small team working on the remainder of the stuff, right? Season 5, they have a new map coming out. But all they've done for 18 months is make Battlefield 2042 back into Battlefield. They launched it and tried to make it a COD, and now 18 months later, they fixed it to get it back to where it was originally. Imagine making the game exactly what it was and then improving on that in the last 18 months. It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I mean, look at this. They took all this stuff in the background over here and moved it. They kept this, but they put more lights on it, but they got rid of the sheet metal on the grounds. Right? They got rid of all this stuff and put barricades there. They move this crane from here to here. It almost feels like the game has just evolved, like they're building stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, look at this. They literally moved this from here to here. They literally just flipped it around. This is probably the best thing they did right here. Yeah, this is the best thing they've done. This base was so far out there, it's like off the screen. It's like super way back. They pushed it closer, which makes sense because you would just take this over. No one would go after it. One person would come around, take the point, and no one would come and try to dispute it. Oh boy. I'll probably play it over the weekend just to test it out. Wow, game changing. Yeah. Yeah. I will defend it a little bit as far as saying that it doesn't feel as chaotic as it looks, Sarge. I know you say it looks chaotic. When I got in with a group that actually played, it felt like the old Battlefield, which it didn't feel like when the game first came out and we did the trial stuff, right? So it does feel like Battlefield did before they made the changes, right? To what it was, to what it is now. So they are making the right moves, but that's the problem. They could have just left it the way it was originally, right? They wanted to make the changes, and then they're like, let's go back. Let's retract what we did. Gonna go play Hell Let Loose now. Thanks. So, all right. It was a good show today. We went over Jedi Fallen Order, or sorry, Jedi Survivor. It looks good. It looks really good. I like the different stances that they did. I like the puzzles, and I can't wait to see more of the talent tree and what the perks are. And I'm sure IGN will have more videos to show about that in the next couple of days or weeks, right? Because I think this whole month, which is almost over. So today or tomorrow, they'll probably drop another video. So I'll be interested in them going over the perks or the talent trees if they get that. Later today, there's a state of play for PlayStation. Okay, there's a state of play for PlayStation. I'm going to watch it, but we're not going to watch it here live because I'm not going to be live when it goes on. We'll talk about that tonight on Generation X Gaming, 8 p.m. tonight, right here on 30NSG. So if you guys like the podcast that we do, you can support us in many different ways. You can go listen to or watch the old versions of it over on Spotify, Anchor.fm, iTunes, Google Play. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can go watch the old or listen to the old stuff. Or if you want to watch it, you can watch it over on Spotify. All the episodes are caught up now. The show from last week got uploaded on Tuesday. So we're all caught up until tonight. And then tonight's episode will be up on Spotify and all the other podcast formats by Saturday. Okay, by Saturday, it'll be up there for you guys over there. What else are we doing? We'll talk about Suicide Squads tonight because they're going to show a state of play at Sony. We're gonna talk about that. Hopefully, they show us some substance with Suicide Squads. That's one of the next games I'm excited for. We'll see what type of game it is. We'll talk about that tonight on Generation X Gaming as well. Also, on our main channel, 30NSG, 30 and Still Gaming, the main original channel. If you guys didn't hear yesterday, I'm changing the whole channel up. I'm erasing everything off that channel. It's a monetized channel. It's not really doing anything. I don't know what kind of content to put up there. I figured out what type of content I want to put on there. Right? I like playing sim games. I like playing like Farm Simulator, Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator, Power Wash Simulator, all those simulator type games. I'm going to turn that into a simulator type of channel. And the reason for this is that if you don't like that type of stuff, that's cool. You don't have to watch it or whatnot. But the reason I'm changing it over to that is that there's millions of people that love watching that stuff. I like playing that stuff, but during live streams and Let's Plays, people don't really like watching it because it's boring, or people just are like, I don't understand why you play this type of stuff. But there's a huge community that loves watching that type of stuff. So I'm going to be making uploads and whatnot of like Farm Simulator, and then me playing a farm and having different episodes of me progressing in the farm, or Truck Simulator, or Snow Runners, and any type of games like that. And if you do like watching that live, I will have a channel over there. I will go live for members. So if you're a member over there, that's one thing that you can watch me do on the weekends. I'll go live on like a Friday or Saturday for that live. And then over here, we'll have uploads and whatnot of gameplay, play games at night and whatnot. So that's what's happening with 30 and Still Gaming. It's going to take a couple weeks to get it all settled done. I'm erasing everything. I'm downloading stuff. I'm making everything nice. I've already made some changes over there for the title, the header and whatnot. So that's some of the stuff that we're doing over on 30 and Still Gaming. Over here on 30NSG, this is the main channel. This is where the podcast is going to be. This is where the daily grind is going to be. This is where our gameplay is going to be. So there might be some changes to the schedule of like when I do what show, but all the content's still going to be over here on 30NSG. And then we have Nerding with 30, where I'm doing like movie trailers, movie discussions. And if I have no content, let's say I don't have an idea for the day stream, right? I might be on a day stream over on Nerding with 30, or even a night stream over on Nerding with 30, talking about box office for the films, talking about a movie, talking about a TV show. So that'll be stuff to do. So if you like this type of stuff, make sure you're following me. Make sure you're subscribed to me. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Make sure you're in our Discord. Make sure you got the notifications on our channels, because we have lots of different content we're doing across the board for pretty much anybody and everybody. So if you're interested in the simulator tape stuff, if you're interested in regular gameplay and talks over here, or if you're interested in entertainment news and other topics, go to Nerding with 30. That's going to do it for me this morning. I do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us this morning. I'll see you guys tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the Generation X Gaming Podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30NSG. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.